back. So I am teacher Aya Samantha. So in our previous video lecture class, we have more examples about evaluating a function. So for today's video lecture, let's have more examples in operations and functions. So how do we perform operations and functions? Again, let us review about the four basic operations. So we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. The question is, how do we apply those operations in functions? So simple. You just follow the process on how do we add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But now, it involves functions. So before we will have our first example, let's write first some functions na ato ang magamit. So let's have f of x is equal to x plus 5. Let's have another. G of x is equal to x squared plus 4x plus 4. Let's have another function. S of x is equal to, we have 3x minus 8. Let's have last example of a function. How about x plus 3 over x minus 1. Okay. Okay, let's have our first example. Given f plus g of x. So first step is you need to rewrite this into its equivalent form. So we will have f of x plus g of x. Mura lang atong distribute ang x. Now, why is it na kinanglan din nato siya i-distribute? If diri ra ta mag-start, remember wala tay makita nga equivalent value. Unlike here, kung atuan na siyang na-rewrite, we will have f of x plus g of x. So next step is you replace the equivalent function of f of x and g of x. So we'll have x plus 5 plus x squared plus 4x plus 4. After we replace its equivalent function, next step, unsay sunod? Kinahanglan i-combine nato ang like terms. What does it mean when we say like terms? When we say like terms, these are terms with the same variable and the same exponent. Okay, let's start with a variable with highest exponent. So we have x squared. Naabatay lang makita ang x squared? Wala. Next is ang x. You copy x. Can you see any terms na ay variable x? Okay. Natay 4x. Then our constant. So we have 5 plus 4. Then you combine or simplify. You have x squared, x plus 4x. Remember that when you are adding or subtracting, remember that ang ma-change lang yun is only the numerical coefficient. Dili ma-change ang exponent sa variable. So you are just adding or subtracting, or you are just performing only ang numerical coefficient. So here, x, di ba nana siya 1 plus 4, so you have 5. Then you copy the variable x. 5 plus 4, you have 9. So our final answer is x squared plus 5x plus 9. Do you have any questions? Okay, let's have more examples. Okay, how about f minus s of x. Always remember that our first step is we need to rewrite it into its equivalent value. So we have f of x minus s of x. Then, next is to replace this by its equivalent function. So, we have x plus 5 minus, you copy the minus, s of x is 3x minus 8. Now, as you have noticed here, our operation is minus. Every time gani class that our operation here is minus, you enclose the second function by parentheses. Why? Because, as you have noticed, our function involves more than one term. It means we need to distribute the negative sign into the terms inside the parentheses. Next step, you follow x plus 5, negative times 3x, so we have minus 3x, negative times negative 8. If you're multiplying like signs, it means that you have a positive sign, so you have positive 8. Next step is we need to combine like terms. So let us rewrite. You have x minus 3x plus 5 plus 8. X minus 3x is, yes, it's negative. Why? Remember that you are subtracting smaller number to a larger number. It means that the answer is negative. 1 minus 2, and 1 minus 3 rather is 2, and you copy the variable x. Then 5 plus 8 is 13. Therefore, f minus s of x is equal to negative 2x plus 13. Our second example involves subtraction. Okay, let's have another example. How about if we multiply function? As you have noticed, class, when we subtract or when we add functions, it's just the same lang man when we add or subtract a constant. But the difference is, here, it involves na gyud og function. Let's have another example. How about multiplying both functions? So let's have s times t of x. So you'll have, let's have our answer here, s of x times g of x is equal to 3x minus 8 times, this is x plus 3 over x minus 1. Remember that when you are multiplying a fraction, class, remember that the process is numerator times numerator, then denominator times denominator. Let's have our answer here. So let us rewrite. So you have 3x minus 8 times x plus 3 over x minus 1. Remember, nanani siya over 1 here. 1 times x minus 1 is just x minus 1. Then you distribute 3x times x. So you have 3x squared. 3x times positive 3, you have positive 9x. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Negative 8 times 3 is, if you are multiplying unlike signs, remember that the answer is negative over x minus 1. Then you combine like terms. Na ba kayo makombine ni 3x squared? Wala. So you will just copy 9x minus 8x, it's 1x. Or, pwede na nimo i-omit ang 1, and then you can just write x minus 24 over x minus 1. Do you have any questions? Okay, let's have another example. How about when we divide a function? How about dividing a function? The same process. Let's add another function. U of x is equal to x plus 2. Yeah. So, for our last example in operations and functions class, how about g of u of x? So, you can rewrite that as g of x over u of x. And then, g of x can be written, or you just copy x squared plus 4x plus 4 over u of x is x plus 2. Okay, now, as you have noticed here, class, our numerator involves a trinomial. How do we divide it sa atoang denominator? Always remember, class, that you can only eliminate or divide the terms in the numerator and denominator if the terms is already separated with multiplication form or in a product form. So, for us to rewrite this, we need to get its factor. How do we factor a trinomial? Remember that when you are factoring, class, you are considering the possible factors sa first term and the last terms. Now, can you think of a variable or a number that if you multiply by itself, the result is x squared? Yes, it's x times x. Next consideration. You think of a number that when you multiply, the result is our last term. And aside from that, pag imuhang i-add tong duha ka factor, the result is our middle term. Naana ba mo yung nahuna-hunaan? Yes, you're right. It's 2 times 2. Okay, let us recheck. What is 2 times 2? It's positive 4. What is 2 plus 2? It's positive 4. So it means this is the correct factor. The question is, unsay possible operation nga ibutang? It's so simple, especially sa kaning case sa trinomial. It is a perfect square trinomial, and aside from that, also class tanan is positive. Then, di na mo mag-worry. Then, our sign here is all positive. Then, you copy ang naa sa denominator. Now, pwede po na itong mabutangan ang ubos o close parenthesis and open parenthesis. Now, naa ba mo yung nakita ang common that we can eliminate? Correct. Pwede na ito ni siya ma-eliminate. It means the resulting value is x plus 2. Do you have any questions? So for this video lecture class, we already discussed about operations and functions. So always remember what are the 4 basic operations and functions. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And in order for us to perform the operations, just consider lang yun the rules sa pag-add, pag-subtract, pag-multiply, and pag-divide. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening. Again, this is Teacher Aya.